Hello YouTube, Nalina here. I am back with another speed build. This speed build is for Newcrest. It is on the strip that we get in Newcrest, and it is supposed to be part of my cat cafe and theater combo that I did. I was actually inspired to do this because I was watching Devin Bumpkin do another build where he had like this more like city feel to it, where there were multiple buildings attached and just like other things going on in the builds. And I thought, that seems kind of fun. I am nowhere near as skilled as he is in putting these things together, but I really, really wanted to go ahead and try to make my own multi-purpose lot. So as you can see, I used the floor tiles to go ahead and just kind of map out where the buildings were gonna fall. I had already had in my mind that this particular lot was gonna go back in this kind of U shape that we have, and instead of putting buildings in the back and putting buildings in the front with like little sidewalks down the way, I already knew that I wanted it to look like this. So that's kind of why I just sort of laid it out the way that I did. I knew I needed to take up X amount of space um, so that I didn't like overcrowd the whole lot with like extra big buildings, because I feel like I have a habit of doing that. Um, which is strange because I always make my builds like really, really small. But I have a issue when it's like bigger builds. I tend to take up like way more space than probably necessary. I never furnished those builds. I always kind of abandoned them. So what I thought to do here was to make really small or like narrow buildings, which is what I saw Devin Bumpkin doing the last time I watched him build. He was doing a hair salon. And this isn't the first time I've seen him doing something like this. I actually had one of his builds downloaded, and it was like you can furnish it. He only did the external part of the build, and the internal, like he said, if you want to have like this feeling of, your sim living in this particular place, then just furnish one of the lots or whichever building you want to live in, and that way your Sims bills won't be that high and you won't get all this lag and stuff. So it was definitely void of furniture, but it was so beautiful, and I don't even know how long it must have taken him to put that together because holy bay. I think this took me maybe about 2 to 3 hours to put it together. I had to cut out a lot of things. You're not gonna see me do the interior layouts. You're not gonna see me choose the wallpapers for the inside or the outside. I do want to mention though that there is a upload of this on the Origins gallery of the unfurnished version of this build. So if you wanted to go ahead and like put your own stores in, because it does have some stores, it has a laundromat, it has a restaurant, it has a pet shop, and it has like a little hardware store that I put together. And thank God, like, oh my goodness, I wasn't even looking for it, but it found me. Like, Sim Lisi, she had uploaded like this garage clutter items, and I downloaded that and I moved some of the stuff into the hardware store just because it was already really full. I gave it like the smallest space ever, and so there wasn't much space. So here's what it looks like now. Kind of came up and down so you can kind of get a look at it. um, there's a flower shop here as well. There is this little like antique kind of like home. I'm thinking of doing like just a tour of the shops that I put in, And you have this little walkway right here where it's just like you're coming into your neighborhood, and there's these stores here, but you just you afford and you can afford to live in one of these buildings. And maybe it's your own personal house. I was thinking though, in order for it to be fully functional, like let's say you have a family living in one of these buildings, that family could potentially own whatever business um, is being run on the lot. And that way you can have like this functioning lot where it's like there is a store here that works there, and there are apartments here. And so you're just to kind of create some traffic in your gameplay. There are 4 apartment buildings. This is 2 here. The entire building is split into 2, and it's like a full house. So this first building, house that I'm furnishing, actually has 4 floors. The upper floor being the biggest floor, and it's like an attic room, which is like where the master bedroom is at. It has a total of 3 bedrooms and 2 full bathrooms. Um, you're not going to see the bathrooms being furnished. The house across the street, the black house, that one also is 2 houses. So you have an entry directly in the front, and then the second entry is on the side of the building. And that house, actually, the entrance is a staircase immediately, and then you live on the second floor. It's a 1 floor house, and it goes across the way. I think it's a 1 floor house, or it's a 2 floor house, and it goes across the way. And most of the floor is on the pet shop. So the pet shop has 2 levels, just so that the build could look a certain height. But then the house of the second, the back house, is like actually on that 1 floor, on the second floor of the pet shop. So I think I'm actually going to do a house tour, because you really need to see this. It's pretty cool. I did a flower shop. I did a laundromat. That way people don't have to have like a whole bunch of um, like you don't have to have laundry in every single one of the households. You could just take your sim. If you wanted to have that experience, in-game experience, take them to go do laundry. Maybe you'll have them do laundry while you're doing laundry. I actually have some clothes in the dryer downstairs. I just remembered. So you can see a little bit upstairs how this building is kind of split in half. It is almost directly in half, but I was able to push it over a little bit, because since the stores are not real stores, I was able to push the houses through so that they can take up space in like the second and third floors of those other buildings. The flower shop is actually this really nice teal color, and it goes all the way up, and it's tucked away in the corner of this lot. And um actually, it that is the apartment, 2-story apartment, which actually goes across the whole way. So like you have the main entrance, which looks like this little blue house, and then you go upstairs, and it's 2 doors, like 2 apartment doors. One of them is only 1 floor. Then there's like a public balcony for the residents, and then there is the second floor, which has an upper level, and that one has um 4 bedrooms. I've actually done the layouts. I'm not sure if my layouts were done for those apartments in my upload, or if there is no layout done. I may have to re-download it to see, and then redo the layouts that I kind of put around here so that people can understand what the buildings are supposed to do. But I really wanted to give freedom to anybody who wanted to go ahead and furnish something like this. I mean, I did this project for myself mostly because I wanted to kind of have like see if I could get this thing to work where it's like it's an active lot, um and have people living on the lot, and the main person would own the business. So in this case, you would have to cheat your sim some money. I haven't tested it out yet. That's the only thing. Um, I know recently I was trying to have like a vet clinic, a live-in vet clinic, and the game told me that I cannot purchase a residential as a venue. Um, so I don't know fully. I know I had done it before where I kind of had like a home business, or I think I did, or maybe I was just living at my business. But regardless of the fact, even if you have to like fake live here, um, I mean, I guess that wouldn't really work for if you have a family. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to definitely play test this, but this was kind of my idea. Like, you would be able to have your sim open the shops and just hire people to run these businesses. Like, they don't even have to be directly involved. My other idea was that there was someone here who, the person who lives here actually works in one of the shops. So the shop that ended up turning into a restaurant, I wanted it to be a cafe. But I've done a couple of cafes already. I also have a couple of restaurants on my lot. I haven't shared those builds because they were just kind of builds that I had done to kind of practice layouts and builds, and just see how I dealt with like furnishing those places. And so I was a little bit more relaxed than I get when I know it's going to be something I'm going to share or want to share, because then I put myself on a schedule. But yeah, so that's what I'm kind of hoping that I can have this to be an active lot. So maybe I'll do a tour. The build is not completely furnished yet. I have just done my third house. The second one that I furnished, you're not going to see it at all, because I had furnished it immediately. I knew what I wanted to do, and so I furnished it as I was furnishing the little shops. And I imagine that person is very like Victorian, and I think she owns the flower shop. Like, that's just kind of like where my brain is. And that's also like a super old looking building. It really stands out because I don't have it fully connected to like the strip of buildings connected. So like on the base of the build, it's connected, but on the upper level, the walls are separated, so it looks like its own little thing, and it's so cute. I gotta say, bravo! I really, I'm so pleased that I accidentally came up with that and I saw it. I don't really remember. Oh, okay, yes, I do remember. So the whole reason why it is separated from the other builds is because it was intersecting with this build at the very top floor, and that portion of the build in this house um, has a balcony. And so I was wondering, how can I separate it, give them privacy without like this building interfering in, even if it was just the roof, and like kind of making it look a little like, I'm just staring at the roof. So it kind of gives them an opportunity, if it was a real build, for them to like look down and kind of like see the activity that's going on down at the bottom. So that's really, it was a happy accident. It wasn't done on purpose. And then I realized like I had a eureka moment, because there was a time, and I still live in this house, and I've actually shared this build. It's my main family's house. I've been playing with this family for as long as 3 to 4 years. I've been playing with this house, and I'm still not done with the family. Like, I'm still growing with them and going through different stages of their lives. Um, so it was inspired by a piece of artwork that I saw, that it was a building. It was a house, and it looked like all these other houses were on top of it, but all the parts were different. Some of them were taller, some of them were shorter. And it's because well, it's not because of anything. I was trying to replicate that look. And so when I did this building and was forced to kind of separate those walls, it made me realize that I could totally do that house here if I just play with roof heights and like separate some walls so that it could look like all these buildings or houses are like mashed together. So it's just like this unclear idea that I have in my head, and I don't want to try to sketch it out, because I feel like if I do that, I'll probably not I don't know if I'll be able to like do it, and that sucks. It's just because I am like a super perfectionist and I want to get things right off the bat, like immediately, and I don't really give myself time to kind of like go through the process, which really sucks. And I'm really fighting with myself. So, yeah, that was another thing. Something else that I want to mention is that a lot of the builds or the apartments in this build are not going to be 100% furnished. And I mean, like, I want to try to keep them very minimalistic, the way the Sims team does when they give us like furnished homes in the games in the game. Because, well, I said games because of like expansions and stuff, but the reason for that is because I would like for people, if they wanted to download this, for them to be able to enjoy everything. um I mean, you can always feel free to delete walls and like things if you need to, so that it can run smoothly on your game. I know when I went to furnish the third apartment, which was in one of the back buildings, this apartment actually runs along the top of the restaurant. When I went to go furnish that, the game was already starting to kind of lag on me, and a lot of the items in this build were like not fully rendered, so they were looking like really weird and like gross. They weren't pixelated; they just looked like mush because the game was still loading, and that's saying something because this lot is actually placed in a 100% empty world. Like, this is a file that I downloaded and it has no builds. It has this one. I did import, and that could have been the problem, but even that's not like 100% furnished. It's like furnished, decently, which is, oh no, it's not. Okay, okay, okay. So it is next to my cat cafe and my slash club theater. And upstairs of that build also has 5 fully furnished apartments. And I was only able to share 3 of them because it looks like the last two didn't record. So that could have been the reason why my game was freaking out. Like, there's enough furniture and builds in like these 2 apartments, into these 2 lots alone, that probably is causing my game to like freak out. Another thing is definitely put move objects so that you don't lose any items. So far, I've been really lucky, and I think it's because a lot of things are not overlapping. But I feel like one day I'm gonna go in the game and just like a billion items are gonna be missing. I hope that will not be the case. But there is a lot of overlapping items here. Even that bookshelf is overlapping on that night table right there. But I thought it looked really cute, so I just left it alone. I wasn't gonna furnish this one like 100% the way that I am furnishing it. I was gonna do it exactly how I said, which was gonna be like mostly minimalistic and just like clean and just like a few items here and there. I really want to work on like a more elegant style, but I really do like really bright colors. I like personality and giving my Sims personality. Also in this lot, I want to use as many items as possible. Like, for example, I put the fish tank downstairs immediately. I took so long with this build. Um, and that's because I kind of saw it going one way, but then I changed my mind about where things were gonna go. And as I put the layout together and started moving the stairs around, I realized that there were certain things gonna have to be put in a little bit more different, or a little bit differently than I had initially imagined, because of the spacing. Like, the items in the game are always way bigger and take up so much more space than I imagine. And like in my mind, I'm always like, okay, I have plenty of space to do this huge thing. And then when the time comes, it's like, okay, I didn't have any space to do any of that. So then I kind of have to adjust. And another thing, now that I see this orange couch, is that a lot of the apartments are gonna have their own like theme, like their color theme. So the lady who owns the garden, the flower shop, her whole apartment is like brown and green. So I use a lot of the green furniture, and it's just very dark in there and rustic looking, over here, I was going to do the same thing, only with a lighter color. And then I started noticing that orange was sort of taking over. So I decided this is the orange house. It has touches of orange here and there. It's really hard to use brown in this game because we have a few different packs that their browns are not consistent throughout every single item that we get. And then some of them don't even have like a furniture. There's a cats and dogs bed that has this like red brown, and then I cannot find any other like furniture to match that, and it was like so frustrating because I really wanted to go upstairs and add some color. I didn't want everything to be like white, so I think upstairs is mostly white. I had to kind of surrender and just kind of not fight with it. Maybe my browns don't need to match 100%, but that's just me. That's just how I am. I'm always trying to make sure my wood is like the woods are matching. But I'll try something new next time and make sure that maybe it's not 100% matching. And I've been watching a lot of people furnish and just seeing like what they're doing and how they're doing things differently. And just make it work. Like most of the furniture or like furnishing or builds that I like, a lot of the furniture is just white. Like it's just white. And I don't like, I get why, but I don't want to do that. And I hope that's okay. Like I hope it's okay to just express, what I want to express with the colors that I'm going to express it in, even if it's not like the most modern thing you ever seen. I think I do more family friendly builds, so it's always like when I think about like a family, I'm always thinking like, oh, there's going to be all these colors because there's so many different personalities meshing, and so many different things that people want to get, or maybe some items broke and they needed to be replaced. So that's kind of how I think when I do family homes. So I hope I didn't kind of steer off of this idea that I was trying to tell or mention, which is that in each of these builds, I want to kind of put, or each of these apartments, I want to put a skill in. So in this house here, we had the son's room, who I imagine he's like a young adult, and maybe he just finished high school. He was into sports. He's gonna go to college. He plays bowling. He's really good at bowling, and he's really into video games, right? But he's also an athlete. And then the daughter, she's really into music. And I thought I meant to give her a pet hamster, but I didn't do that. So I'm gonna have to be sure to put it in one of the other apartments. The parents, I imagine, like the dad is a writer, and he just tends to do most of his work upstairs. He's got the balcony right there. He's got some nice light coming in, and nobody's bothering him. Like he doesn't have to hear anything from anybody. I imagine the mom is like the one who's in charge of the fish tank. Like that's her fish tank, and she really likes plants and stuff. So like those are her things that she does around the house. Even though in The Sims 4 you don't have to feed your fish, nor do you have to water your plants. If this was any other Sims game, like OG Sims games, then yeah, she would have been spending all day doing that. Okay, so this is the only bathroom I show you. This house actually has 2 full bathrooms, and I was thinking about adding a basement, but the basements in the game have kind of been messing with the terrain, so I decided not to do that, and that's another reason why I had added the laundromat. So this is the last room that you're gonna see furnished. There's a lot of stuff in here. This build took me forever. As you can see, there's a walk-in closet there, and there's dresser in there as well. There's mirrors in there as well. I was only gonna do the walk-in closet, but because I needed to fill up the bedroom, I decided to also put a dresser outside the bedroom, as well as there's 2 dressers in the bedroom. They're just kind of mushed together. So this is the last room. This is the last piece of the video, and we're going to be coming up to the screenshots but in a moment, I'm just moving some things around as you see. I really wish that there was more space for the toothbrush and like the soap thingy. I want more of those like little things. I think those are so cute and perfect. But anyway, we are at the end. I do hope you enjoyed this build. Please give me a thumbs up if you did. And if you want to check out more of my builds, go ahead, head on over, leave me a comment, and maybe subscribe if you like what you see here and if you're interested in seeing the other builds. I've already recorded one of the other apartments that I did, and I think I'm going to just go ahead and record the tour even before I'm done with everything else. So here are the screenshots. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you liked it, or a thumbs down if you hate it. And if you hated it, tell me why. Tell me what I could have done differently. Let me hear your opinion or your thoughts. Thank you, thank you, thank you again. Officially this time. I will speak to you again in the next video. Thank you. Bye.